Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Lost My Pokemon Trading Card Game podcast. I'm exhausted Lucas, and my co-host Landon.
Hello, exhausted Lucas. I am, as you said, Landon. We are fresh off our flight back from EUIC yesterday, and we are here with some EUIC results to talk about. Are you
Yes,
excited?
I am. Sandor Wojcik finally played in another event.
This is true. So, Lucas, how are you feeling after your flights? And maybe after that, tell us about your tournament.
um, I'm feeling fine. I went to bed at like 9 p.m. last night, and it's 10:14 here, so I'm exhausted and I want to go to bed. I'm excited.
Wow.
Well, okay, it's not I want to go to bed. I want to do this. I want to get this ready. I enjoyed filming pods, but I am excited to go. Me, 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 me. I
Honk,
will
skibbity,
say.
skibbity, skibbity. Honk, skibbity, skibbity, skibbity.
I will say, it is that Sorry, the way I said that, I do enjoy making these. So yeah, I'm doing fine. How about you, Landon?
I'm doing pretty good. I had a nap today that
Oh,
lasted about 3.5 hours.
oh,
I
sick.
slept from about 1 o'clock. Actually, maybe about 4.5 hours. I slept from like 1 p.m. until like 6. So that's 5 hours actually. I'm mistaken each time there. Um,
Dang, bro had a
I had a snooze and a half.
yeah, bro, had a
Uh,
snooze and a half.
it was pretty sick. I'm probably gonna go to sleep again after this though. But yeah, the 8 hour time difference is there.
Yeah, it's
Um,
kicking my butt, man.
yeah. I
He's
also just
more
don't sleep on the plane. So I think mine is more of like I just didn't sleep all day yesterday, so I'm kind of just catching up. I'm like sleeping twice, basically. I slept for like 5 hours, and I'll probably sleep for 8 tonight. But I have to work
That's
tomorrow,
fair.
so
That's fair. So today we have a tournament review from our EUIC run. Um,
spoiler alert: neither of us did very good,
yeah. I
which
did
I think was
worse.
kind of just like a bad beat situation. I felt like our list was pretty strong, but
Yeah, I feel like our list was pretty good. But yeah, and then we have a recap of EUIC, like the what did best, and then we have a small tier list for Orlando. I'm not going too crazy for it.
and neither of us are going. But I think it's valuable for the viewers that are just to have a bit of our opinions on the meta and how it's going to evolve going into this weekend because I think it'll change a little bit. Um,
Yeah.
because quite a few decks did well that no one was really thinking about, which is kind of what happens at the first tournament in a format. So it's going to be an exciting episode for
Tis.
all the listeners. But let's start it off with our EUIC deck list.
Okay, so this is our EUIC deck list up on screen. It's just Charizard. A few things to point out is we are playing the Templo Sinnoh Devo for the mirror. We're playing Eerie. We're playing Mist Energy. And we're playing Maximum Belt. We just decided to take the Elder Control, which ended up being a terrible idea.
For Lucas exclusively, he had a lot of stall.
I
I had
hit,
zero,
I hit,
but
I hit a stall. My first round, I hit stall. Second round, I hit Pidgeot Control. Oh, no, not second round. I hit a Pidgeot Control in the sixth round, and then the seventh round, I hit a Great Tuscamille.
yeah. So Lucas hit three controlling archetypes, which is really tough for this deck. Some of your worst matchups as Charizard, but
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, I went in knowing that I was gonna lose the stall, and I lost to some stalls. So
yeah, my story. I went 6-3. Lucas went 3-4-1. So I got 60 points. I think I got like 301st or something. So I guess by that definition, I didn't do that bad. But my run, I lost to a Bayonet EX, which is pretty unwinnable. I was only able to play Rare Candy on my second turn of the second game because they won the coin flip. So I think losing the coin flip in that matchup is kind of just a death sentence. Two of the games, I just wasn't able to candy at all. So that really sucked. And then I lost to a mirror match where I prized both my game one and two. I prized my TM Devolution. My opponent played TM Devo, so there wasn't really much I could do there because they were playing it well and they had Devo and I didn't. And then my third loss was to Lugia. They got turn two double Archeops all three games. And the second and third game, they got turn two double Archeops with a boss's orders to take two prize cards on the second turn, which was pretty tough.
unfortunate.
So
That's
I
just
run the
normal,
rest of my
man.
rounds. I won all the other six ones. I think I beat three other Charizard mirrors, a Tina, an Ancient Box, and something else. I forget the other matchup, but um, I think the list was pretty good. Lucas hit 3 stalls and beat most other things he hit, other than one thing. What was the other thing you lost to?
C-POW, because I just got unlucky, man.
Oh yeah, the last round you were
draws
telling me
so
you
mid.
drew pretty bad.
Yeah, that's the one thing I wasn't really liking about Charizard is it just felt like my losses were out of my control.
Yeah, same. I won all the games where I like was drawing well. Unfortunate things didn't happen, or my opponent wasn't just like drawing god tier, winning the coin flip, and then like just flacking me with the best possible hands.
Yeah.
But like this deck, I don't regret the list. I don't regret the deck at all. I would play this and run it back like every time.
Yeah.
But it just didn't work out. I don't think for either of us.
I had a dream.
Is there anything about the list that you didn't like?
Not really. I liked this list quite a lot. I didn't get to use Eerie that much because I hit one C-POW.
Yeah, I'm same. I played Eerie twice and hit 2 items in the whole tournament.
R.I.P.
I played it into a mirror, and they had like 9 cards in hand. And I hit 1 nest ball, and I was like, "What?"
Damn.
They had like the crazy turn 1 with the instant charge, and it's just like, ain't no way I hit 1.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I think Eerie was strong for this event.
Yeah, I would never cut Eerie. I just didn't hit matchups where it was good. I hit like 1 Tina, so
yeah. Like I had a dream the night before the event that I was not gonna do well with Zard because I was gonna hit stalls. Then I woke up and I was like, would I ever change my 60? No.
No, I think I didn't hit stalls. I mean, I was just gonna take the loss. I mean, I think stall ended up doing well for that reason, but I was just kind of roll the matchup roulette, and I did well on that. I didn't hit any. Unless you count like Baynet as a stalling archetype, because I guess kind of, but it's not really. But
Yep.
You did not win the matchup roulette, unfortunately.
Tis okay. We don't have to. I'm not too mad about it. I feel like I played pretty well the last 6 rounds.
Yeah, for the viewers, nothing really super crazy about our list, other than Lucas said the Temple of Sinnoh and the TM Devolution. I feel like the Temple, it was good for Mirror. I kind of got the tip off that people were playing it, and then I didn't know about the Regieleki till after day 1. But I actually managed to beat one of the Regieleki control Zards in one of my rounds, which was kind of nice. But I did know they were playing. It was James Cox.
How did you beat
So
him?
basically, if I wasn't able, like game 1, I was able to Candy Pidgeot, Candy Charizard, and evolve my Charmeleon turn 2. But in the 3rd game, I wasn't able to do that, so I just Candy to Pidgeot, quick search from Mist, and then evolved the Charmeleon instead of attacking. And then they bossed the Charmeleon, but anytime they bossed my Charmeleon or Prime Catchered it, I was just able to Super Art it back, put it back in play. And then if I always had Charmeleon, the Devo spamming didn't really do anything, and then I kind of just felt a little bit advantaged in the mirror match.
Yeah. I mean, if your
That's what I was
opponent's not
doing.
playing Devo Mist, like, if your opponent's not playing Devo Sinnoh, like, you kind of.
Well, they were playing Sinnoh. They were playing like the Regieleki Devo spam with the Temple of Sinnoh, and they did the thing, but I just kind of made them have everything.
True, I heard that you would just like. I mean, the Charmeleon just hurts them so much because you just have it guaranteed out to Zard on board.
Yeah. I saw some of the other lists playing like Lost City Giacomo instead of Temple of Sinnoh, and I actually think I like that better.
Yeah.
I think the 2nd place seniors list was playing that. That way you have the way around the Charmeleon. Although I think people might be playing 2 Charmeleon moving forward with all the Devo TMs that were this weekend. Like the top 4 list played 2 TM Devo, I think. So it's pretty popular to be playing.
Yeah.
The evolutions. So I think you want to have your outs to it. Also, the Tord list playing Bibarel kind of nerfs TM Devo quite a bit.
Yeah, I think I like the Giacomo a lot more in like those control Zard variants because it's also getting lost. Cause you can go like Como and then Regieleki for Como, so it gives you an out.
Yeah, let's see. And it's also like better into Lugia, like because they're having to build.
I meant lugs.
Yeah, that Giacomo actually seems pretty broken into Lugia because they're trying to have like the 5 energy Cinccino, and then if you like discard 3 other energies, that basically means they can't Cinccino like at most more than twice, even though they weren't really able to do that before. But maybe they can only Cinccino once if they've already like researched away a couple energies or something, and you like bin triple energy on them.
Yeah, true. It gets a lot harder for them to Cinchin.
Especially if you are able to like boss Archeops, because a lot of the time you'll kill the Archeops, then they'll primal turbo to the Cinccino, then you either have to kill the Cinccino or the Archeops, and then if you can go KO the active Lugia, which they're attacking with, and then Giacomo off the bench, it makes them unable to 350 you, which is like that'd be a really strong line.
Yeah, I mean, after they can't 350 you, their whole like upside to
Yeah.
the matchup is gone, and then you become a way better deck.
I played against a Lugia and the Temple didn't do very much. It turned off Gift once, but they were able to draw out of it because it wasn't the last turn. But Giacomo most definitely would have won me that game if I had it in my deck over Temple. So maybe I'd be considering Giacomo in this list even. I really don't like the Regieleki versions personally.
I
I
like
think
it. I think it has potential. The control is a nice aspect, and it's nice to just have a beat stick like Zard. Like Zard is a very big beat stick, and I kind of
yeah,
enjoy
I just
that.
feel like it's not really a control deck even. Like it feels like I'm playing a bad Zard list and a bad control list at once. I do really like Tord's list though.
Okay, well,
Maybe we can
speaking
move
of
on to
Tord's
that.
list, yeah, let's move on to Tord. So
Bro wins
Tord
another icy.
Tord
Sheesh.
wins his fifth IC. He's literally just like making joke poses now. It's funny as hell. So he was playing
Handouts
this.
from this list are pretty big.
He was playing this Charizard Pidgeot version deck, but he was playing a 1/1 the barrel for the Devo, which I like a lot. I was testing it out. I was playing it a bit today, and it's like, I like having Barrel. Barrel's like draw for 5, and then just find the card you miss. So it's nice to have inherent draw power. You're not gonna get cooked by Iono in the late game. You see the Cleffa. Cleffa is like something we considered like a tiny. No, not really. We didn't really consider it. But it's a good card. It's free retreat. I like the free retreat part of it. Like you can just bench it and they can never target it because it has one prize. So then boss just cooks. Like you don't get cooked by Iono at all with this deck because you have Bib and Cleffa. So you just have the
Yeah.
free pivots.
I think the strength of Cleffa is like you don't always have the ability to nest ball for Rotom because you're only playing one nest ball, especially here. Being able to Poffin for your turn one consistency card is pretty cool. And then also, if your opponent is playing Spiritomb, it works through that. My only issue with Cleffa is you're only playing 6 fire, so the amount of hands where you're able to like have the fire to retreat into it are probably not going to be that much. But I
Yeah,
guess
true.
you also have Turo as a pseudo draw support in that vein, like. If you don't have another supporter, you can like Turo it up into Cleffa, but that feels pretty bad.
Yeah.
Or
Speaking
burn
of
your prime
Turo,
catcher.
Speaking of Turo, this list is playing 2 Turo and a Yelchier and 2 Boss, so this should be enough to be regular stall, and it should give you a time into Pidgey stall. They have to play perfectly.
I think this list is actually like broken because you don't list stall really. Like the Yelchier is really strong with the prime catcher because the turn you want to play the Yelchier, you can just hold your catcher for or your counter catcher too. If you're like going boss early, play like an Iona early or something, or you want to chain your Turos, you can play Yelchier plus a Gust card in the same turn, which feels really nice. And then against controlling decks, it's not like Palpad where they can Eerie / Force and Sisters it. You're going to be able to always recover your supporters. And don't forget, it also shuffles back Pokemon as well. So it's kind of like a third
shuffling
rod
Pokemon
almost.
is sick. It is kind of third rod in the late game with Radzard.
Yeah, that'll be really nice with like Bibarel, yeah, Radzard being able to save Rod for just energies as well, so you can get back more fire energies that way. Also going to be nice for recycling Manaphy Jirachi into like Lost Zone matchups, especially with the Turo. I have a feeling that you'd have a really strong Lost Zone matchups with double Turo.
Oh yeah.
Jirachi Manaphy.
They'll just go like swing, you'll Turo, Super Rod attached, like you'll be chilling.
Yeah, and kind of like I was talking about last week how I thought Prime Catcher was the better ace spec to be playing, which Tord obviously felt the same way. But he found out the way to beat the mirror without Max Belt, which was what I was struggling with. Defiance Band might be that way. But just having to do it from behind was something I wasn't super comfortable with. But I do like the Prime Catcher. I think Prime Catcher is better into a lot of matchups. I think the only thing I'd be scared about with this is maybe Chen Pao. You might have a worse Chen Pao matchup with this list specifically, which is a little bit scary, but...
Yeah, your CPAP matchup wouldn't be amazing. You're not playing Eerie. They're gonna...
Or Devo. Notably no Devo in this list.
Yeah, no Devo too is like kind of bad. Not bad.
Tord doesn't have to really care about the Devo because of the Bibarel and Charmeleon, so...
Yeah, he can go
that's something like
footing, which I kind of like.
The Devo's still going to be good against you, but the turn they Devo your Pidgeot back, also no Mist Energy here, which is interesting.
Yeah, I'd
you can
like to
just
see one.
you not care about rare candying down Pidgeot because you just have the Bibarel and you can kind of just work with that for the rest of the game. So yeah, I think this list is pretty sick. The only things maybe I'd cut Jirachi for Mist Energy. I wouldn't mind to see that change
Yeah, I
personally.
wasn't really missing Jirachi this week.
No, there was even I played against Atina and they weren't ever afforded the time to really use Sableye because they were just trying to get through Zards the whole time, or Gust KO Pidgeot. So it never actually came up where they even had a position where they were able to use Sableye. So with the amount of pressure you're able to put on, I think that it's kind of okay to not have Jirachi.
Yeah, I wasn't missing it at all.
And I think this deck's mirror matchup, the double Turo is going to be like really good in mirror.
Yeah,
Especially if you go Turo, Gust KO, Yells Cheer back like Turo Boss or something. You're kind of cooking.
Yeah.
And maybe if you want to take this like one step further and really beat control, you could throw Silene in. I think that might be a little bit too much, but being able to loop against control. Yells Cheer cannot get back Yell Cheer.
But just play a second one so you go Turo, boss, Turo.
I don't know. I don't think realistically that you're going to have to do either of those things, but it would be interesting to like maybe experiment with Silene so you could actually loop against control.
Yeah,
but then again, you could flip double tails eventually, but I feel like you don't need true infinite against them.
Yeah, you just need to have more cards in deck.
But Silene would then be able to get back like Prime Catcher would be pretty cool synergy, and then you'd be able to use Silene with Bibarel. I don't know. I'm not saying you should play Silene, but seeing Yell's Cheer in this list kind of makes me want to think about one just because of the obvious looping between the two. But
yeah, that would be nice. I think there is potential there.
One more thing I want to mention about this list before we move on is the collapsed plus I think the Bibarel are going to synergize a lot. You can kind of mimic the Charizard Bibarel like one prize board state. I don't think you'd feel that bad about collapsing away your Pidgeot if you had Bibarel in play in some situations.
Yeah, like you'll be fine. One prize board states is what used to win you a lot of matchups. It's what won you a lot of matchups with Bibzard. So it's nice that you're able to play it now. It definitely gives you an advantage.
Yeah, and then especially when you're playing like Cleffa, Jirachi, you have like a lot of one prizers you could fill up your board with, without like having to burn Super Rod.
Yeah.
So,
like,
but I think Torda had a pretty good list here.
Yeah, Torda's list was very strong. Teched out for the exact meta that it needed to be teched out for. So good job to Tord. Isaiah Bradner coming second with his Giratina Bennett deck. So
I'm a bit of a hater on this list personally. I think that Azul Group's list was better.
I like this 60. I like the puppet offering. It's very nice to get you toward 10 quicker. And once you get towards 10, like, you're just fine. Like, you have Lost Mine, you have Star Requiem, everything is golly gee.
Golly gee.
Not
My
golly
issue with
gee,
this list is we saw this in finals. This list looks like an absolute brick. We saw Bradner. I only watched, I think, the first game. But Bradner did not draw very well. And I think Giratina is already a pretty clunky deck, but when you're adding an extra stage 1 line and playing 2 Poffins,
yeah, I don't know.
I'm kind of sussed out. I would like to see, like, I don't know. I prefer Azul's groups list just because of the consistency aspect of this deck. They were playing 2 gear, an extra Poffin, and just like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think consistency was kind of big, but like I guess you're going into this event high rolling, and I can respect that.
Yeah, I don't know like what the payout was really for though, because you're sure it's going to be good in Zard if you can get it before they can candy, but you're kind of already a little bit advantaged into Zard, especially as Azul Gloop's list with the double temple.
Yeah.
But obviously Isaiah did do very well in the tournament, got second. Congrats to him. Not saying his list is bad. I would just prefer the more consistent aspect of the Azul Group's list, but
Fair.
The Bayonet was interesting.
I've been liking this 60. Alessandro Cremascoli playing the Pidgeot Control. So I think this deck is very strong.
Lucas's love and Pidgeot Control.
Yeah, true. Pidgeot Control is broken. I've been liking it a lot. I think it has a lot of potential going into Orlando. You beat Zard, you beat C-Pow.
But are you really beating Zard now? Torrent's list just won. I don't think it's as easy as it is to just say you're beating Zard because a lot of people will just net deck Tord.
I think you still do with the Mimikyu game plan.
Yeah, although I think a lot of people, I think it's a very possible timeline where people play Tord's list but add second Charmeleon with the Heat Tackle. I think that would be something that Control might want to worry about because a pretty natural reaction is people are going to net deck the winning list, but they also see all these TMD evolutions. especially on this control list, is also playing Team Devo and play that second Charmeleon, which will be good into not only this Mimikyu, but other things. So I'm not saying Pidgeot control is bad, but I'd be a little bit scared to play it myself.
I don't know. I'm gonna test it quite a bit. I've been seeing that it's probably pretty good. Like, I like that no matter, like, your skill is gonna take you as far. You're gonna do as well as your skill takes you, which is something I really appreciate it with control.
Yeah.
So if you play super well, you'll get a super good result.
Do we need Noivern? What is that really helping into?
It's good in the Lost box. It's good in the Ancient box. It's good in the Future box. It's good in the Future hands.
Yeah, I guess Ancient Box is the one matchup that you really don't like with this deck, and you'd probably want for.
Yeah, like it's good in the
Ancient Box feels like pretty awful, honestly, because they're just like one prizer that doesn't really have retreat lockable Pokemon.
Yeah, Lugs does not feel amazing, like an amazing matchup.
Yeah, Lug too.
Dub Lug.
Yeah, I mean, I like this list. I do enjoy the Team Devo. That's going to be really good into Charizard. You've got kind of a toolbox of things. Bouffalant, you got Chi-Yu, you got Radzard, you got Mimikyu, Mawile. Notably, no Snorlax here, which I think Mawile is kind of just like a better Snorlax in these Pidgeot control decks. I really don't feel like you need it at all if you have Mawile. Although Mawile can be shut off by Mist, so maybe that's something you want to think about. But you can always just boss around Snorlax, so Snorlax feels pretty bad.
Yeah, like it doesn't feel like it's doing enough in the Zard now with the abundance of bosses you play.
Yeah, I think this is probably, and not probably, this is definitely the best control deck, like the Pidgeot without Snorlax, anything like that. That reflected in the results as well. We did see another Pidgeot in the top 8, but they were playing Snorlaxes.
Yes, not a fan of Snorlaxes.
But congrats to, this is iCaterpie on Twitter, right?
Yes.
Yeah, great player. They've been playing a lot of control. If you look at their page, they've got like infinite results with control, but.
Wait.
Look at that. They're the number one point earner on the list with control. Good for them. Congrats to Alessandro.
Yes,
William's
congrats.
top 4 list?
Yes, let's look at William Azevedo's top 4 list. So founder of Arvinsard is the guy that one of the guys.
Oh yes, that's true. They did really well with it. They won the regionals, the initial one with Arvinsard this year, right?
Yeah, in Brazil, yeah.
Curitiba, yep. Yeah. But this list is also playing Cleffa, so both the top 4 Zard lists had Cleffa, so maybe think about that.
Yeah,
but this was the one I was talking about with the double Devo. They have Airy here, so a little bit less of a like defensive package with the Yelchier double Turo. This is more of like a generic list with just like double Devo and the Cleffa, but not hating it. Also playing Max Belt here, notably.
Yeah, I mean, I think Max Belt is. It's like if you don't think you need Prime Catcher, if you don't think you're gonna hit an abundance of stalls, like.
I personally, I think Prime Catcher is the better ace spec, into exclusively not Mirror. But this list specifically, I feel like could have played Prime Catcher too because they're playing double Devo already for Mirror.
Yeah,
so I think
true.
this list would have been really good with Prime Catcher. But obviously they got top 4. I didn't. But
I think there's definitely an argument to be made about cutting that up. Cutting. Why am I blanking on the card name?
Prime Catcher?
Yeah, cutting Max Belt for Prime Catcher. Because, like, you already have plans. You already have the Defiant Span if you were playing towards 60. But, like, this 60... I don't know. Prime Catcher's a more inherently powerful card, but when you're not playing Defiant Span, you kind of just have to play Max Belt or else you just don't win the matchup. That's really the only problem.
I think Divine Spend is close-ish enough to Max Belt if you're playing them like the Mirror correctly, especially with the Devo spam. You can kind of just spam Devo instead of taking prize cards, and then you can use Divine Spend pretty effectively. But yeah, other than that, this list looks pretty normal. Playing Roxanne as well, notably. Tord was playing Roxanne as well, no research. That's something we played was research and not Roxanne, but...
I think I prefer the research, because especially in these kind of Zard 60s that are cutting consistency cards, having the consistency cards and, like... And as many.
That's how I felt about research as well. Like we were playing still 4 Ultra, 4 Poffin, 3 Nest. I really wanted to play 4th Nest Ball just because I love playing consistency cards on my list. But that's kind of the reason we played research over Roxanne just for the early game consistency aspect. With you need a supporter that isn't Iono that draws you cards. It's just whether you want to play research or Roxanne. But it looks like Roxanne's kind of the more popular choice so far.
Roxanne's not bad. I like how in the late game, instead of having a 0-card hand, you have a pretty decent hand size. It's pretty nice.
No, I don't think Roxanne's bad at all. I just think that, um, personally, I'm valuing the consistency aspects of research, especially when you can just play Iono. In Towards List 2, you have the Yelchier, so you're not really worried about running out of Ionos either.
Yeah, true.
But
I prefer research over Roxanne as well, but
we're next up we see two Iron Hands lists, which is not something that either of us thought was going to do well.
yeah.
Again, I don't think this is a very good play into Orlando, but I think these players, if we had what is it, PTCG? No, what was the one where you could see people's matchups, but it's not longer. Yeah, Pokestats. We would probably see these people with a very low amount of Charizard matchups throughout their 2 days.
Yeah, I think this deck does just kind of get slacked by Zard.
Oh, absolutely it does. The matchup is not good. But if you're dodging Charizards, you're probably doing pretty well, especially seeing the double psychic energy here. So you do have a pretty decent way through stall with this, which is pretty traditionally a bad matchup.
Yeah, I mean, we're playing the switch card, we're playing the Prime Catcher, and then we're just gonna Iron Crown spam the Pidgeys, and then we should be fine. I feel like that's your problem. That's your plan for this deck.
Yeah, I think that if you're dodging Charizards, you're probably doing pretty well. But I would not be trying to dodge Charizard as my plan going into either this event or the next event. I think it was congrats to these guys, but it was very brave for them to play the Turbo Hands. I think the list was interesting playing the Ericas, but
yeah.
And the
so
next
the
list
previous
here-
one was playing Erica. This one was playing Crisis.
this
Punch.
list is sick. Crisis Punch is so cool in this deck. I was building some decks today. I built this list, and Crisis Punch is so cool because you get the Iron Crown damage boost, so you can be pushing one shots on Zard with that. I think that makes this deck's Charizard matchup a lot less sus because you can go like 1-3-2 pretty easily with the Crisis Punch. I really want to experiment with the Crisis Punch more. That was just like kind of an ingenious inclusion for Yuho. Yeah, Yuho Kalama. This list is really sick. I'd like to see second Psychic Energy though, because one Psychic is pretty sus into control.
Yeah, they're just gonna lock your crowns into the active after the.
Yeah, but Twin Shuttles is really good against them. Lucas was saying you can kill the Pidgeys down, like if you get an early Twin Shuttles, or it also just like 50 snipe to two things. If you have the Future Booster at 70-50, is pretty strong because you're setting up two things to die. No, especially into like actual Snorlax, like 4 Snorlax block control. You're just like 4-shotting 2 Snorlaxes at once, and it kind of just overloads their pennies, which is really sick.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The Crisis Punch seems good. Like it's just making it so that you actually have lines into Zard. I saw.
Well, into Zard, like if you think about it, you can, if they want to boss around your Miraidon, you can kind of just intentionally not take a KO on turn 1, so they have to kill Dawn. Like you can just not bench crowns and do like a 40 or 60 poke, set up something for KO, and then just go like. Then that way, especially if people are cutting Max Belt from Charizard now, I think that you have a lot more room in that matchup. If you're able to just not take a KO, and then you can do like a 3/3 prize map too. You could like 2-shot a Zardex and then 1-shot a Pidgeot for 3 or something.
Yeah, I mean, that seems like a pretty.
So I actually think the more I think about it with the Crisis Punch, I think that I'm kind of a little bit interested in this deck now, but I'd still just be really scared of Zard.
Yeah, I think the Crisis Punch definitely gives you lines. Like you can just like.
Especially when I mean, now it's a little bit not a secret, but I bet you this guy just won games out of nowhere with the Crisis Punch, and their opponent just thinks they've checkmated the opponent, and they're just like, Arvin for Crisis Punch, blow up your active
like,
that had full HP.
No,
Like against Tina as well, this would be really sick. There's just a lot of matchups. Like anything with big HP that you can't one-shot, then the last turn of the game, you're just like, okay, cool. You just nuke through anything in the active, which is sick.
Yeah, like it is definitely sick to have that option.
Literally raises your damage cap by 120 damage, which is really good.
Yeah, it's broken. I think that this deck has a lot of potential. The Crisis Punch just giving you pretty decent lines into Zard. Like, because then you're just going to go 1 prize, 2 prize, 3 prize, like you were saying earlier.
Yeah, like you could, pretty feasibly, you could go KO with Miraidon. The only issue is if like they just always gust around the Dawn. And then you could take a 2, and then you could take a 3. Like, your map could be like KO 1 prizer, hope they don't have Gust, plus KO on EX on turn 2, and then you can go kill Pidgeot for 3, and then Crisis Punch the last. Because you're pretty often always going to have that Crisis Punch.
Yeah, like, and with the town store, it makes it a lot easier to find.
Yeah, you have 4 Arvin and Town Star, so you have like 6 outs to it, which is a lot of outs. Like I think you're not gonna have an issue hitting the Crisis Punch.
Yeah. Sorry. Sorry.
Plus,
Yeah.
then like if you like whiff the hands, you could also like Baton Trigger to a Crowns EX, and then like
sick, yeah.
you could go Crisis Punch the Crowns, because it doesn't have to be the hands that holds the tool. It's anything with the energies. So.
Which I find like pretty nice.
Although
Yeah,
the
you can
issue with
cast
that,
the
and then
crowns.
that you wouldn't be able to get the Crowns boost out of it though, so that would be worse.
Is there like that's just yeah. I mean,
That's just an option. But I think this list is sick. I think I'm happy moving on from it. But Crisis Punch in this deck is incredibly cool.
Yeah.
I think that's sick tech.
if you guys are trying this out, I would try Crisis Punch. Definitely makes your Zard matchup probably at least 50-50, I would say. Right?
I wouldn't go that far, but
I guess maybe
they're
like-
especially if they're playing Prime Catcher, they're going to be pretty often able to gust take 2 prize cards on turn 2.
Yeah, that's true. So we've looked at this 60. Let's move on to kind of one of the talks of
Dex
the
cooking.
tournament, Roaring Moon to Dunsparce.
Shout out to this dog for playing Dark Patch in Roaring Moon. I mean, we didn't have the Dunsparce technology, but so glad that that Dark Patch did better than Caradon.
The Dunsparce and Dark Patch is very good. I love Dark Patch.
That's
I love
sick.
actually being able to power up my Pokemon, man.
So sick.
Isn't it your
Being able to
favorite?
play a different supporter than Sawda every turn is so clean. Love
Clean,
it.
bro. I love being able to like the Dark Patch Penny. Ooh. Fire.
But for listeners only, this is Roaring Moon EX with the Baby Moon, and then you've got a 3/3 Dunsparce line.
Yeah,
The
so-
Dunsparce is sick. You can shuffle it into your deck and draw 3 cards, and the
Draw
basic
3
has.
first, so you
Oh,
never
sorry.
deck out.
But it also can be used in your active, so it's always a free pivot. And then the Dunsparce basic is also a free retreater. So it's an incredible amount of flexibility.
Yeah.
And a huge amount of cards you draw as well. If you're able to like use it twice a turn, which is not that hard to do, because it's so easy to find more copies of Dunsparce to put down because you're drawing like 6+ a turn.
Yeah, but the 3 artists
you're just gonna get to keep
chaining.
chaining.
Dunsparce.
Yeah, especially with the triple Artisan, which is like sick engine here because you can like shuffle back your Dunsparce after you draw your 3, Artisan back the Dunsparce. You got Trekking Shoes to dig more stuff. You got 4 Nest Balls to dig more Dunsparces into play.
Yeah, like
Like he's cooking. You're drawing a lot of cards.
you're
The
drawing
ancient,
a lot of cards. You're getting a lot of Dunsparces into
how many
play.
ancient cards are you playing? 4, 7, 11, 15,
19, 20, 24.
23? Only 24. So you're kind of accepting that you're not really going to be hitting big damage with the Baby Moon. It's more of like a 2-shot or kill EXs, like basic EXs, which is fine with the Prime Catcher,
Yeah.
Boss, and Counter Catcher.
Yeah, that's why
But,
you have Roaring Moon. Yeah.
But yeah, you can just kind of clear active with Frenzied Gouging. So I think this deck is just going to be like a really effective, aggressive.
Yeah, I think
Pile.
this is one
Not
of
sure
the
about
better
Penny, though.
defensive decks. I think
Not sure
Penny's
about Penny.
fine. Cause you go Ancient Booster Capsule if they don't OHKO, you just go sick. I'll Penny it up.
Yeah, I feel like Thornton might be a better option. I saw a list playing Thornton. That'd be kind of cool.
Oh, maybe that is kind of good. Yeah.
I think it's kind of like maybe it's like a tech for control a little bit, so you can like bring up your ninja if they do that. But then if Thornton fills that role just as much as Penny would.
Yeah, but Penny.
But then
also
it would,
lets
like-
you
it
put
would
cards into
also-
your hand.
Hmm?
Penny also lets you just put the cards into your hand.
Yeah, I feel like, but like the Thornton would also have a synergy with like Dunsparce too. You could like Thornton out of like your something, and then you could like evolve straight into the Dunsparce and draw 3 cards.
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
know.
I know a lot of people were saying this deck like beats Zard, which I'm not completely sure about because they just like heat tackle you. But
Even if they heat tackle you, then they just respond with Charizard or the Baby Moon, and they just have 1 prize board state again.
oh yeah,
I don't think this. I mean, I feel like this person had to hit enough Charizards and probably had beat some of them.
yeah, I mean, it seems fine because you just go like Moon, 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 or like Gouging, kill Pidgey up with a baby, Roaring Moon. It's, like,
I feel pretty
fine.
confident that this deck would be able to chain moons with the Dunsparces.
I think you are. Like you have the Sadas which attach 2 automatically.
Plus, you
and then
always
like,
have a free
attack.
retreat pivot with this deck. Like the Dunsparce is free, and then the Dunsparce just shuffles itself out of the active.
Huge.
So. This deck, obviously very strong, got top 8. So shout out to Mark. Let's move on to Bert.
Let's go. Okay, I'm down. Bert Walters. Yes! I love Snorlax Pidgeot. Okay. Bert Walters playing a 3 Snorlax version of Pidgey Control. I'm not as much of a fan as I am about
Yeah,
Alessandro 16.
I personally much prefer Alessandro's list. We're
Yeah.
also seeing Mawile still.
I
So
like that there's ways around more matchups, but I'm sure that Bert had ways around it. He was talking with like Control Legends, like literally Alessandro. He was talking with Alessandro and he's talking with Sander Wojcik, and they were giving him recommendations. He said on his tweets. So I'm sure there's a reason why he was playing the triple Snorlax version. The Devo Sinnoh is nice, but I feel like Sinnoh is way worse without a way to get. I don't know. It just seems not as good in this deck as it is into like Zards, where you're also attacking. This deck is just gonna be able to Devo once very effectively because of the Sinnoh, so it's not as big of a deal of as like getting rid of 3 candies into the mirror and then just targeting all the things that they can't candy.
hmm
So like
yeah, I think Alessandra's list is just like kind of the better one. I don't think Snorlax is very good, especially when you're playing Mawile.
yeah, I kind of agree. I think my wall is just better. I've been into control though, so I have a bias. Maybe. Do you want to move on?
Yeah,
Congrats to Bert. So we're just
yeah,
gonna
still
look.
top 8 is great. And then I feel like we should do the top 16 because there was quite a few other interesting decks. Like Azul got top 16 with the Tina, and then there's also Gardevoir, which I think Gardevoir's pretty good.
Let's do it. So Fabian came 9th place with Gardevoir. This looks pretty good. Landon out there showing with the Gardevoirs off.
Yeah.
I think this deck's really good. You have Fluttermane and Klefki for Lost Box. So you're just gonna go Team Evo, attach Hex Hurl, and then just spam that KO for a while.
Yeah,
You have
my only
Mimikyu's
concern
Zard.
with this deck is like what the Zard plan is because you're still very weak to the vacuum KO EX play. I'm not sure if the line is just spam Mimikyu because can they really beat Mimikyu
I
if you're
mean,
just like attacking with Ghost Eye and putting a Bravery Charm on it and or Hero's Cape?
I think you can beat Mimi. It's just you can beat Mimi for sure. Like, cause
With Radzard, I guess, but then they
yeah,
just kill the Radzard. I'm not sure. I'm just not sure what the line into Zard is if you're trying to like go for the big one hit KOs. But then you just get so punished by the vacuum. Take 2 prize cards turn. I
yeah.
mean, take 3 prize cards turn.
That turn is what got me off of Gardevoir.
Yeah, exactly. Like we were really hype on Gardevoir at the beginning of this format. Also, seeing Airy here is pretty cool.
Yeah, I like Airy.
One of the decks that you can draw a lot of cards while also playing a different supporter. Like you can just refinement, play Airy, maybe snipe some good stuff.
Yeah, and it's like definitely worth it in a deck like this.
I'm just curious. My main gripe here would be can you beat Zard like effectively? I'm
I'd
sure
say,
Fabian has probably figured that out. I'm curious if the line is trying to play more of a regular prize trade or just spam Mimikyu because other than Radzard, they don't really have a very good answer to it, especially if they're not playing the Heat Tackle Charmeleon. Because if you're doing 2 Mimikyus on them, one of them had a Bravery Charm, one of them had a Hero's Cape, then it's pretty hard for them to get through that, especially if you just drift through the Radzard when they attack with it.
Yeah, true. Like it's maybe there's a line there with the Mimi, but it's gonna be hard. But shout out to Fabian. I know he did a big post on Twitter. So if you want to go read about that, I think it's literally Fabian Pujol. So his name and it'll pop up. Go read that. I read a bit of it. I'm gonna read more of it tomorrow. Future Hands came 10th. So
Another one. It's playing Grass Energy though, which is a little interesting. Only 12 Lightning makes me so sad.
yeah, but 12 Lightning. I would like
Playing
to
a
see
Rod though,
more.
so that's interesting.
Yeah, Rod makes it like more justified because you're able to shuffle them back in, so you don't need them throughout the entire game. One baton makes me feel kind of wacky. I'd rather
Yeah, I
have
mean,
two.
I think you're only ever using 1 baton per game most of the time. It's just you really don't want to prize it, and it's nice to have an extra one if they vacuum you. But I don't think playing 1 baton is too bad. It's just my gripe would be the 1 baton in combination with 12 lightning energy is like the really sus thing for me.
Yeah, there's just not.
I'd
There's
like to
just
see
not
at
enough
least
energy
13
to
lightning
be able
because
to
you're just
recover.
you have to hit your generators, man. You have to hit them.
Generators are very important with the stack. Like you go Miraidon, attach generator, and then you generator something else so that you can attack on the next turn.
Yeah,
Looping
but this
generators are
might be
important.
the way to beat Zard. Like this again can go 1, 2, 3, not without that much difficulty. Like if you go peak acceleration, put 1 onto the active Rhydon and then 1 onto like something they don't want to boss, and then you just have 2 grass energies in play and then can leaf through it because if you put on the active Miraidon and they take a 1 prize KO, that's perfect. That's like a free turn for you. So
Yeah,
you don't really care if they KO your Miraidon.
yeah. Like carrying Miraidon just gives you so much more time, because if you take a pride with a
You
Miraidon,
get a full extra turn, which is like broken.
yeah, it probably is what wins you the Zard matchup. If you
Yeah,
can do
this
it.
list is playing like a vacuum. So I think they're playing vacuum, energy search. I think the energy search could just instantly become
That's
another
like
lightning energy.
baton.
No, I think it should just be extra lightning energy. Like if you're cutting lightning for energy search and just hitting generators less, I get the logic where you have to like Arven for grass energy, but I think the point of it would just to be like peak acceleration out double grass on turn 2 or turn 1.
Yeah, I think that would also be the the plan here. Peak acceleration into
Because then
leaves.
you're not
and
thinning lightning energy out of your deck either for generator.
yeah, yeah, that's kind of sketch, but I mean, I like the idea of the leaves gives you lines again into Zard. So if you're gonna play Turbo Hands, play something that beats Zard in Turbo Hands, whether that be
Yeah, I think you should try leaves and or crisis punch. Not and or. I think it's either. But try crisis punch, try iron leaves. See if either of those are gonna really help your Zard matchup.
And if it does, this deck could be pretty good. So shout out to that was
Simone.
We have Ancient Box Koraidon coming in. Makes me feel a bit sad, but I'm pretty sure.
I mean, ultimately, this deck is good. It's just like
Wait, is this what I think it is? No.
I just want to see Dark Patch. That's the biggest thing for me. Is that my issue with these Koraidon lists is like I played against an Ancient Box. If you just boss target the energies every turn, they have to Sada every turn because you can't play another supporter if you don't have energies in play. You have to power up your moon in one turn with Sada. And playing 0 copies of Dark Patch just like turns off your hands a lot of the time. Like Explorer's Guidance without Dark Patch is sad. Explorer's Guidance with Dark Patch is broken because you just go Guidance, pick Dark Patch, pick another card, you have an attack. And this can't do that. That's why I like that Dunsparce list so much more.
Yeah, the Dunsparce list is nice as you're able to like actually do stuff other than accelerating your energies every turn. And there's an uncapped damage count, so.
Yeah, I don't mind this. Like ultimately at the end of the day,
like,
it's just one fighting energy, but
yeah, Koraidon's like very slowly gaining on me, but still not that good of a card.
even I asked the opponent I played against, he's like, yeah, I think I've attacked with Premier and Portal Beatdown only when I've started this Pokemon, which is like totally makes sense because it's anti-synergy with your good attacker as well, filling your board. So
yeah, I'd low-key rather be playing Tusk and then just going Sada Tusk, Explorer's Tusk, Sada's Tusk.
yeah, I think I prefer the Dunsparce Roaring Moon EX thing now. That was pretty similar to like our very first our Ancient Moon list was playing 3 Moon EX, no Dunsparce though, which I don't mind.
That was funny.
So I don't think this list is bad. I don't think this deck is like it's obviously very good. One other thing that's sick is Superior Energy Retrieval. Never thought of that myself, but
It's
makes
nice.
sense.
It empties out your ancient cards while also putting.
And it just lets you keep it's Superior is like a huge engine card because as soon as this deck stops concealed carding, it feels like way worse. But Superior just makes you have enough energy to get through the whole game with using Greninja every turn, which is super cool.
Yeah, it's nice because then you actually get like you get like another +6. And
yeah, basically.
You get.
Plus, you always have attached for turn.
Yeah, the Superior, I didn't realize it was so good until I was like, wait, this just lets you discard ancient cards. This is good.
Yeah, I really like Superior. This is also playing 4 Pokegear, which is really cool. So.
Yeah, 4 gear makes your Pokestops way better. It makes you hitting support on the first turn way more likely. So I'm.
But I do like this list other than Koraidon. Maybe Koraidon is just a necessary evil, but I love Dark Patch in Ancient Box. So
Dark Patch goes so hard, man. Oh my goodness.
And then next up we have a Pedro Torres, one of the goats. He's been doing well for a long time. Yeah. Pretty generic Lost Box list. Oh, Raikou V makes me want to.
I do not like Raikou V.
I hate Raikou V. I am a Raikou V hater. I think Pidgeot.
So
I think this playing a Sealstone target's fine. I still am not confident that Raikou V is any better ever than Pidgeot V is, just because it's such a liability and play at such a weak HP for such a little payoff.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never liked Raikou in my Lost Boxes either. I would rather not be playing.
But this like they're playing Hoopa and Mew EX, which are both good cards. Also playing like 1 Moon, 1 Hands, which is pretty traditional in Lost Box.
Yeah.
Playing Prime Catcher. Artisan is just stadium of choice here. I'm not super confident in Artisan over Town Store.
Yeah, me
maybe maybe a 1/1 split here would be kind of nice because it
1/1
lets you
split
have
would be sick.
out to forest seal more often.
If you're playing 1/1 split, I would also be playing a superfecta glasses. I like being able
Yeah,
to just
super effective glasses is really nice for the Zard matchup because it gives you like a free turn basically to fall behind a little bit. Our list that we were thinking about playing for EUIC for Lost Box was playing glasses plus Town Store
Yeah.
because you can take a 3 prize tar turn. You can go 1 2 3 instead of having to go like 2 2 2. Or,
Yeah, like you have more outs into lugs, which is not lugs.
yeah, also
Not
very
lugs.
very good against
Not
Lugia
lugs.
as well.
I didn't mean lugs. I meant Zard.
It would be good
Makes
into
your Zard
Lugia.
map way easier. Yo, yeah, no, your lugs matchup is so good with it. It's crazy.
Also interested of maybe seeing Lost Box play one Iron Crown ZX. That would not be horrible.
For I guess yeah. Oh, the 50/50 sniper.
Yeah,
is
like
nice.
being able to shuttles through Manaphy is pretty sick.
True. Yeah, you can go stabilize.
And then
set a bunch of
having
stuff up,
like
and then
amp
shuttles.
for 280 into Lugia and so that's maybe something I'd like to experiment with actually.
Yeah, we should experiment with that. That doesn't seem bad.
But other than that, pretty normal Lost Box list. Nothing really crazy going on. So I think I'm pretty happy moving on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like it. Yeah, it's pretty sick. Okay. So we're gonna move
George.
on to George playing Zard Pidgeot. Very cookie cutter. This 60.
Yeah, this is pretty basic list. 2 Ionos a little sus, but they're playing Max Belt, TM Devo, Mist Energy, playing Jirachi, Roxanne,
They're playing
1
2
Airy.
Gloss, 1 Palpad. This list does not have a single out. Sorry. I have an alarm. My bad.
Jokes, bro.
I know this list does not.
You jump scared them twice in a row. 2 episodes in a row. The audience has been jump scared. Let's play Bad Charmeleon. Oof.
Oh, woof.
I think that especially into all these Devo decks now, the other Charmeleon is like quite necessary.
I agree. I think the other Charmeleon is way, way better. It just gives you
Yeah,
an
Heat
active
Tackle.
life protection.
The Heat Tackle with Max Belt is pretty clean into Iron Leaf ZX exclusively. That is something that into Tina, if I had the out, I would have been able to do. 240 the Iron Leaves, which is pretty cool, but I think if you're playing 2 Charmeleon, the second Charmeleon should be a Heat Tackle, but if you're playing 1 Charmeleon, it should be Flare Veil, like, every time.
Yeah, Flare Veil is just so nice, because you can put it down into, like, a Devo
important
deck,
into Devo.
and then they can never get it.
Yeah, I think that you go from, like, having a fine time into TM Devo, if you know they're playing it, into, like, being downright horrendous into the TM Devo.
Yeah.
But I think that's pretty cookie cutter. I think we probably can move on to Azul.
Yeah, pretty cookie cutter. We'll go on to Azul's Tina 60. Azul
I didn't even realize he top 16. He just sneaks into top 16 like all the time.
Yeah, Azul's a very good player.
Yeah,
So,
I think this is my preferred Tina list, especially playing Tomb. Tomb is really sick. The Tina player I played against was playing Tomb, and it was really annoying. Ended up still being able to win, but it was stopping me from Luminioning for a long time. Obviously, stops that a card.
Yeah, it was difficult for sure. I like the
Like, this is pretty basic. Pretty basic other than Double Temple, but Double Temple is really nice into Mist Energy, and most artists playing Mist Energy.
Yeah.
So
I also like lugs. I also like it into lugs.
Yeah.
Like, you can definitely
sure.
beat it with just Roxanne Sinnoh attack. Like, I think Tina's good.
yeah, the Tina is pretty sick. This list is like aggressively basic though. It looks like last format except for no VIP, Buddy Poffin, adding temples, and then playing Prime Catcher.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is basically like -4 path, add 4 new cards, cut VIP for Poffin.
Yeah, you're right. No, that's
It's literally, yeah.
literally
I
what
think
it is.
this is like 50, what? So cut 4 VIP for 3 Poffin leaves, cut 4 path for Temple, Escape Board, Prime Catcher, and this is literally previous format
You
Tina.
cut Psychic for 4th Grass, and then, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Jeffers.
This is
Water.
this is pretty much
This is literally
pre-format Tina.
previous format Tina. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a good deck, so I don't blame them.
Yeah. Well, we have
We got 2 more.
another crown.
So there was 4 Turbo Hands in top 16. That's crazy.
Yeah, Water Energy is in this deck.
Ooh, I don't think Water Energy is ever worth it for Refrigerated Steam. I think this Water Energy should be second Psychic like every time ever, but
I would like to see it as either second Psychic or second Gift even. I like second Gift.
yeah, still playing Gift, which is cool. I think you need 2 Psychic actually. The more I think about it, like having a stall matchup versus having no stall matchup is pretty important.
True.
Plus, Rod on second attack is pretty good.
160 is a pretty nice number on a one prize.
Yeah, just having arm press on your one presser is pretty cool because if you go accelerating peak one to them or right on, like it gets the psychic out, then they kind of have to kill it. Otherwise, it just two shots them.
Yeah, you start sweeping and just taking favorable trades if your thing's ever able to sparking strike. I also.
But other than water bundle, this is pretty normal. So I think.
Yeah, we can move on. I like just having a stall matchup with the deck, and then another Roaring Moon, the Dunsparce.
Is this like pretty much the same deck?
No, we play Thornton.
So this is the Thornton. See, I was telling you the Thornton.
We're playing
Thornton's
less ancient cards. We're playing a bundle.
Yeah, we're playing less Moon EX too. So I think the previous list might be. I think I like the previous list minus Penny plus Thornton. That was kind of my thoughts.
Yeah, Thornton's kind of sick. I like being able to go gouging, and then when it dies, go Thornton gouging.
It's sick.
Good. Yeah, this is good. Good deck. Good deck. Okay, we would talk about it more, but we actually are kind of we're on a time crunch now. We've been doing this for 50 minutes.
Yeah, that's okay. I think we wanted to just get a quick tier list out at the end here. For anyone going to Orlando, kind of get our thoughts on the format out. And can you make it big for me again so I can actually see?
Oh, my bad, mate.
Hey, John. So I think we can start S tier off with Charizard.
Let's put Charizard in S tier.
That's pretty obvious.
With the new adaptations, you're beating almost everything in the format. You have to be a very good Pidgey control player.
Yeah, you have a Pidgey control matchup with Tord's list for sure. Like it's not all bad, especially if you choose to also play Heat Tackle Charmeleon. I think Tord's list minus Jirachi for Mist, and then find room for second Charmeleon. I don't see what that really loses to.
Yeah, that's true. It loses to itself, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, if you brick, sure, but I think Tord's list is pretty close to perfect matchup spread, honestly. I like Zard is really good. I was kind of thinking about it. Zard feels like the Drampagarb or the Gardevoir of last format, or like the Arc Bibarel Pika decks, like just not being amazing into any one matchup, but just having like a slightly favored against everything.
Yeah.
If you're playing it well.
Zard is like insane. It's slightly favored into like all decks, pretty much.
Yeah, I was kind of having this thought the other day if I just play Zard for the rest of the season, because I don't really see any reason not to. If you're just playing like an updated Zard list, if you're playing it pretty close to perfectly, then you're just gonna have a great tournament every time you don't break.
Yeah, like Zard is a very, very strong deck.
Zard is a beast of a deck. It's huge.
It definitely is one of the better matchup spreads of all time.
Is there any other decks you want to put in S tier? I still feel like Lugia is. It's not. I don't think it's S tier. No, Lucas. No Pidgeot control in S tier. I'll give you A tier.
Thank you. Okay.
It's not S. There's no way it's S.
I don't think Lugs, after this recent performance, can.
No, I think Lug is still an A. I don't think it's S anymore. But
yeah.
It's just the power level is all there. I still have the exact same opinions I do about it as I did before. It's gonna win if it just draws well. Case in point, I played against it and I had like zero chance because my opponent just drew so good.
Yeah.
But if they draw suboptimally, they're gonna lose. But I don't think it's S tier anymore just because of results. But I don't feel any different than I did last week about Lug.
Yeah, A tier is definitely where I think Lug should be. We're also gonna take Future Hands and we're gonna put it in A.
I still think it's B. We put it in C last time.
Yeah, but with the
I mean, there was 4 in top 16. I still think that these people had to have dodged and wave Zard, like to an extent. I don't know. I think bottom of A, top of B.
I think I'd rather bottom of A.
I still don't feel very good about Future Hands.
Future Hands
as a deck.
Kind of just get cooked by Zard, but like, it's fine. It's like not too big of a deal. Cause like
it's a huge deal.
Okay,
How is it not big of a deal to auto lose to Zard?
My bad. My brain is just skipping. It's skipping sometimes. But yeah, I think Hands, the cards that we saw today, giving it actual lines into Zard makes me think that could be better.
Another issue is that you also have no Tina matchup. I think Tina is top of A, maybe bottom. I don't think it's S, but
I think it's top of A.
Tina kind of shellacks Future Hands as well. Like if the turn they go Roxanne KO, you're active. You have like 0 outs to that, man. Like it's a rough roll for Future Hands.
Crazy.
Yeah, like having horrible matchups into both decks that got finals is such an L.
Yeah, such an L. But it's
I will not touch Future Hands with this. I don't know. I still am a hater. I'll let you have A because you want it there, but I'm a firm believer that future
I'm
hands is
down to
B.
put it in B. Like, I'm down to put it in B. It definitely just gets kind of cooked by Tina and Zard. And I think
Literally,
those
yeah,
decks
it
only
gets
go
cooked
up.
by both the decks that finaled, and does well in other things. But Chen Pao had a pretty bad performance. Like there was a couple in top 32, but
Yeah.
like
I mean, it's just a very powerful deck, but I just don't think it's better than Future Hands right now.
mm, I think it actually has room to do better, especially now that there are people going to be copying Towards List. Towards List seems like it's got to have pretty unfavorable into POW with 0 Devo, 0 Max Belt.
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
would want.
That's fair. I guess I could put a top of B.
I could see Chen Pao. I think Chen Pao like still bottom of A, but I'll say bottom of B is or top of B is fine, I guess. But
What do you like? What do you think? I think top
I
of
would say
A.
bottom of A. I think it's worse than Lugia, worse than Tina. Maybe I think it's like really close between top of B, top of A. Why don't we reevaluate at the end when we done
Yeah,
all the
we'll
other decks?
reevaluate. But I think the deck's
Arc-
good. Into
Arctina, did Arctina what was the highest placement of Arctina? I'll look it up.
Wasn't
Highest placing Arctina. I can't even find it.
yeah.
I think highest placing Arctina was 68th Michael Primalot. So I think Arctina is probably lower than Future Hands in B.
Yeah. I think Arctina's still strong. Like it takes a good
Yeah, I have nothing against Arctina. I think it kind of has like good matchups into
most of the
most things, except for Lugia. Like Lugia is a really bad matchup. But again, another deck that cooks Future Hands.
Yeah, that's fair. It does kind of
Max Belt Arceus is really good against Future Hands, especially like
Yeah, they have to pop
Michael
off.
Primat was also playing double vacuum, kind of like our list. Double vacuum, no stadium. Maybe Michael Primat watches the podcast.
Yo,
Because this
true.
list looks pretty close to the list that we posted a while ago. I guess no, they're playing. He's playing Four Judge, but
Judge isn't bad. I kind
no,
of like the...
Arctina's pretty cool. I liked the. There's some other Arceus decks that were good, but
I saw the arc like slacking Luxray Rapper Eerie thing.
that was really interesting. I feel like that's got to be like a one-time thing. There's no way. I think Chark is pretty cool. Julian. Oh, Julian, I gave Jackson's water energies to. Shout out Julian. I met up with him on Thursday.
Shout out to Julian.
Yeah, he got top 32. He got bubbled top, or he got 17th. Didn't bubble, but
Yeah.
anyway, Snorlax stall. This is like Blocklax. I think that's probably C.
Yeah, I don't.
It's just
I'm
way
not
worse than
liking
it's way
Snorlax
worse than
stuff.
Pidgey.
Way worse.
Especially
than Pidgey
with
stuff.
like a lot of there's quite a few Spiritombs. Like the Arctina list that did most well was playing Tomb, and then Tina was playing Tomb in Azul's group. So I would not be super surprised to see Tomb in a couple of decks moving forward, especially feeling bad if you're playing Blocklax, not Pidgeot, because you have like no out to Spiritomb.
Yeah, Spiritomb kind of hurts you if you're Snorlax.
You draw 0 cards. It's really bad. Gardevoir. Gardevoir is really good.
I think it's A. I think it's A. I think.
Yeah,
it's
I would
better than
not.
Bug
I would
right
not hate. I would not hate on that. I honestly think I'm going to play Gardevoir to the challenge this weekend.
now. Yeah, W. I think
Who's
Gardevoir is
that?
very good. I will probably.
Renge is so happy right now.
True. Braden is going. Yeah, hip hip hooray!
For real.
Shout out to Braden.
Yeah, Gardevoir is just really strong. It's going to be really tough in the Charizard still. I mean, not really tough. I just think that matchup's kind of sus, but everything else feels pretty good.
Yeah, like I think Guardy seems quite strong. I know that quite a few like it was 1.10% of day 2 and 3 made top 32.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's an insane conversion rate.
Mhm.
Ancient Box I want to put in B. I think it's
Bottom of B is appropriate, I think. It won seniors. It got top 16. I think this is worse than the Dunsparce version.
Yeah, but
Can we like follow up with Boring Moon and put it like just a slot above it in B tier?
yeah, I'm down.
Well, we have Moon twice on this, but whatever.
Oh, we do? My bad.
Yeah.
I'll get rid of that one.
Okay. Yeah, I think the Dunsparce version is just going to be more aggressive, and like that's kind of the draw to Ancient Box is just kind of aggressive attacks.
Yeah. And the Baby Roaring and not the Baby Roaring Moon. The Roaring Moon, the Dunsparce thing actually is able to be aggressive because you play the 4 Sadas, the 4 patches. You know, like
Yeah, like you're able to chain attacks really easily, especially with the Dunsparces, and you don't have to use Moon EXs. I think the list that got top 8 was playing Super Rod, so you can like chain the Baby Moons pretty easily with the 4 Dark Patch, drawing like 3 to 6 cards a turn, and 4 Sada, and like just having 3 Artisan as well. You're able to chain that pretty easily. So
Yeah, like you're able to change the Dunsparce fairly easily. Like, and I kind of like it. Someone was pointing it out, like in airport a couple days ago. In the stall, your engine just cannot be gotten rid of.
Yeah, they if they gust your Dunsparce, you're like, okay, chill. I'll shuffle it in my deck and draw 3 cards. It also is infinite loop. You cannot deck out if you have Dunsparce.
Because it draws the cards before shuffling.
So as long as you have 1 card in deck, you can just draw 3, which would be the 1 card, and then your deck would be Dunsparce to Dunsparce. So
yeah, deck is
you could just get Chi-Yu'd, but it is kind of nice that your thing can't be gusted up. Just be careful about your Rad Ninja, but both of the lists were playing either Penny or Thornton, so you had an out to get it out of the active.
Yeah, I like
Great Tusk Mill,
like
D tier. Great Tusk Mill's pretty bad.
Great Tusk is not D tier. It's definitely better than Raging Bolt and Dialga. Like I think it's bottom.
It's better than Goldango. Okay, but what does Great Tusk Mill want to hit? It probably wants to hit Lost Zone. It does not. I guess it wants to hit Zard. You don't want to hit Lug. You don't want to hit Chen Pao. Probably. I mean, maybe you could probably beat Chen Pao. You definitely don't want to be hitting Future Hands. You don't want to be hitting Arceus. You don't want to be hitting Moon. Gardevoir matchup, yeah, they would just put up Gardevoir EX in the active and just kill everything.
Yeah, that's what I was doing to it when I was playing it once. Yeah, I think Great Tusk Mill is like just bad, but I think it might be. I could see D.
I'd say top of D. It's better than Goldango.
Yeah, speaking of Goldango, let's put that there.
Let's go. Goldango is just worse than Chen Pao.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's get all these D tier decks out of the way. Dalgametang.
It's C tier. It was making some waves the EUIC.
Bro, remember last week when we talked about this and you're like, oh yeah, I would never tell anyone to play this, and then you're like D tier.
I think it kind of understands.
I'm just scrolling through day 2 here to see if I find a single Dialga, and so far the highest placing was 124th place.
That came top 128. That's not bad.
That's pretty bad. There was 5 of them, and all of them did bad.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
B tier.
Fine.
Raging Bolt Sandy Shocks.
Bottom.
Can Goldango be the worst? Yeah. Well, no, Goldango has to be the bottom.
Bro, Raging Bolt is just not that good. Raging Bolt Sandy Shocks.
Okay, I know it's worse than Goldango, but we have to put Goldango as the bottom. Okay. It's the running gag.
Okay. So
Goldango has consistently been like the worst deck on our tier list.
Yeah.
For like the whole podcast. I love it.
Okay, let's
I hope that Goldango never becomes good, so I can't. So I have to keep hating on it.
Goldango will eventually win a regional. Okay.
So Lost in Box.
I think it's top of.
I don't know. I think top of B. Sorry, not A. I think it's just worse than Tina in every way. I think Tina is just a better version of the deck right now.
I mean, maybe, but also I kind of like regular Lost Box. No, I like Tina, because Tina's just like, heh, leaves Tina, and it's like, shoot.
Yeah,
man.
Tina's favored into Charizard by a little bit. Lost in Box is definitely not favored into Charizard by a little bit. I feel like you go from like a 55-45 to a 45-55 between the two, and then like you take a better Lugia matchup as Lost Box. But you have a worse like Chenpa, you have a worse Future Hands, you have a worse like Artina.
Yeah.
I think you're just kind of like the same deck, but with a little bit of a worse matchup spread. That's my opinion of Lost Box, at least.
That's true. Yeah, it is kind of. Yeah, it is just worse matchup spread. But like Tina is just a better deck. It has the Roxanne, which I really like, and.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
CT like A. What do you think of Pidgeot Control? I think Pidgeot Control is probably A tier. I feel like I'd put it above Gardevoir.
Yes, Pidgeot Control is so good.
I will say Pidgeot Control is very good. It's a very strong play right now. Control again, like even though it top 8'd 2 of the slots, I think people probably will still disrespect it just because people want to disrespect Control. Case in point, us at this tournament, we were just like, I'm gonna dodge it. That's what I chose to do, and I did it effectively. Lucas did not. There's people with that mentality that are going to continue to have that mentality, and you're just going to punish them as the Pidgeot player.
That's true.
So,
okay.
Although with Tina being such a strong deck, I would be a little bit scared to play it.
You can beat it, especially with the new Alessandro Vizzoni list, where you're playing like.
Yeah, I'm not saying you can't beat it.
You're playing Radzard, Defiance Hand, Fire Energy, and then Roseanne's backups. You can do it all again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that it's bad, but. They also can just go Prime Catcher Pidgeot EX, and then you're pretty sad with the Tomb in play.
True. That is pretty bad for you, yeah.
Yeah. and they have infinite switch outs. I think that I don't think you can deny that the Tina matchup is bad for Pidgeot.
It's
I don't think you can deny that.
Yeah.
But Pidgeot has pretty strong matchups. Other than Lugia has a pretty bad matchup as well, and then the Roaring Moon to Dunsparce deck is also going to be a pretty bad matchup for you.
Maybe.
But
It's probably fine.
well, but you're just going to struggle with one prizer that does 200 plus damage.
I mean, yeah, you right.
Like, it's pretty hard to lock. Like, the only target in their deck to get locked in the active is Radiant Greninja, and they play a supporter weight to get rid of that.
Yeah.
And you're not playing Mantine, so if they just discard Rad Ninja, you have nothing you can lock in the active, and then everything in their deck can either one-shot or two-shot the active, and both get through Mimikyu because Gouging can get through Mimikyu.
Yeah, like, it's not amazing, but...
So, Pidgeot Control, I feel like, again, is still going to be like a matchup roulette deck, but if you're playing it correctly, you can win your bad matchups, unlike Blocklax, which really doesn't have outs into bad matchups. But that being said, it does have some pretty auto-win matchups as well. So
yeah, true. I think we'll
last deck, Espathra Xatu. There was a top 32, wasn't Braden Alfred got 25th with Espathra Xatu. I think the funny part of this deck is you don't even auto-win Charizard, I feel like. You beat a bad Zard player, but the Zard can still, especially if they're playing Max Belt, can still beat you.
Yeah.
But I feel like other things like Lost Box would probably struggle a lot into Espathra EX specifically. You have the Bayonet for some things that Bayonet's going to be good against.
Yeah. The Bayonet
yeah.
be quite
good this deck also looks like it's just a complete brick as well. So it, in fact, on top of your matchup percentages, you have to think of the deck that's playing 3 stage 1 lines.
And
as well as 11 energies. Yeah. And so I probably wouldn't touch this deck myself, but it did have a pretty decent result, and I do think it has like more of a matchup spread than anything in D tier. So I think C tier is probably a good spot for it.
Yeah, I think C tier is good. It definitely has like some decent matchups. Like it's fine into Zard, it's fine into some Lost Boxes, it's fine into some stuff. But mainly it's kind of just getting carried by Zard's Zard's importance to the metagame, and you take a favorite Zard matchup. It's also kind of like
this tier list is pretty nice.
Yeah, this is a clean.
I'm happy with the Chenpao. I think I'm happy with the Chenpao space as well.
Yeah, this is a clean tier list. This is clean. If anything, I'd want it to be like this. But I think Chenpao is better. I think Chenpao also is like a deck that kind of is a winner of this weekend. I think that its matchups kind of are looking pretty good. Yeah, true. Zard list that are not playing Maximum Belt, Tina list.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. If people are playing towards list and cutting Airy and Max Belt, then Chenpao is going to really benefit from that because that was the 2 cards that were the best into you as a Zard or a Chenpao into Zard player.
Yeah, so C-Pow is like not doing as bad anymore, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, but I think that's it from us. Unless you have anything else to add, Lucas. I know you want to go to sleep, so probably not.
Not really. I mean, I think I really like Pidgeot Control. That's what I'm saying. If I'm testing Pidgeot Control right now, just seeing how I like it.
Our next tournament is likely going to be LA. I don't know if Lucas is trying to find a way to get to Indianapolis, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I'm selling League Cup mats on Facebook Marketplace, so we're trying to see if it works.
Nice. Yeah, I could go to Indianapolis, but I don't really need to. I have 499 points. I'm not worried about whiffing invites. I'm going to regrettably go to a league challenge this weekend and then try to go to some league cups next weekend. My girlfriend's coming home from school, so we'll see if that ends up actually happening.
That's fair. You gotta hang out with your girlfriend.
I do have to spend some time with her, considering I haven't seen her for a couple months. Probably should spend some time together.
Time with her.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you got outro. Yeesh, man. When you're ready, you got outro.
Yeah, so best of luck to everybody in Orlando this upcoming weekend. Hope you all do well. Hopefully this tier list did provide you some value as a player. Hopefully it helped you in have a more informed decision on the deck you play. That being said, please leave us a like, a comment, subscribe to the channel if you liked it. Let us know if you want anything in specific from next week's episode. I know for sure we're going to be talking about some of our results from tournaments we go to. Definitely going to look at Orlando, and then we still have more tournaments coming up, so we'll be looking at those. But other than that, you've been watching the Lost Mine Pokemon Trading Card Game Podcast. It's been me, Landen and Lucas. Thanks so much for listening. We will see you next time.
Bye-bye.